What's up, everybody? Welcome to the EDM Prodcast. This is a show where we interview artists, producers, and anyone in the industry of electronic music production who we think can help you make better music. My name is Aden Russell, aka Artsea, and I will be your host. Now, as always, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by EDM Foundations. If you've ever wondered how some producers manage to make such good music after a short time, EDM Foundations might be the solution for you. You can fast track your music production journey by creating 4 professional level tracks over 4 weeks or at your own pace, and understand the individual little details that go into laying the foundation of your music production skill set. There's a lot of things that a lot of other courses look over, and as a result, you never quite understand the basics of production. So if you're a new producer and wanting to dive into this, head to edmfoundations.com where you can learn more. Now, today on the EDM Podcast, we have NOVODOR. He is a producer DJ based in LA who has recently started a new project, previously part of the Bee's Knees project, which has been a nice indie dance project he's been doing for a while, whereas this one is just broadly focused on dance music and house music. And in the interview, we dive into his background, we dive into the way he approaches making music, and he has a lot of very interesting things to say also on the industry side of things about how he goes about his visual content, how he grew his Instagram, and basically just has a lot of fun with making fun videos that relate to his music. And I think a lot of producers and artists can get a lot of creative ideas for their more marketing and promotional side of things from this episode. We also dive into his latest and upcoming projects and a few ways he got involved in those. We also talk about his collaboration and sampling processes, which is really interesting if you want to listen to that there. If you like working with other musicians, lots of valuable insight here. So I'm not going to talk too much longer. Let's jump straight into the EDM Prodcast 165 with NOVODOR. Welcome everybody to the EDM Prodcast. Today we have Adam, aka NOVODOR, in the studio, virtual studio. How's it going, man?
Going amazing. How about yourself?
Doing well, man. Yeah. Had a coffee, so I'm buzzed for this interview now. Definitely got the fuel.
Amazing. I'm totally not buzzed. It's 7 p.m. I'm ready to party and go out and let's do this. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea what I'm doing tonight, but yeah.
Been a long day for you, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely been.
Yeah. We were chatting before. You had like all these plans and trying to align a bunch of stuff. So I can imagine, man. Yeah. Cool, man. So I guess, you've kind of got a few releases come out now. For those of you who haven't heard of you before, you make, I would kind of say, like really fun, kind of funky house stuff. I would say like sample-based house stuff. It's hard to pigeonhole it, but yeah, I really like your sound. Maybe real quick, do you want to dive in and explain what you would say your sound is?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I would just categorize it as dance music because I would say some upcoming releases are going to be more in the darker lane, more, I would say, club oriented. And then as well as I would say the song that's coming out on my forthcoming EP, Open the NOVODOR, it's dubbed Favorite. And that one is like almost like indie dance. So it kind of, I just go for dance music, but I do make a lot of house music as well. So yeah.
No, that's cool. I like keeping it diverse and kind of allowing yourself to try out different things is always good too. So that's awesome, man. And I guess, you from like your Spotify and stuff seem to be, a more recent entrant. I don't know if that's even the right word onto the scene in some way. Do you want to dive into your musical background a bit and how you got to where you are today? I suppose. Yeah.
So it started off when I was a little boy. No, I'm just kidding. But essentially, I had started out as a DJ about 13 years ago. Turntablist, scratch DJ. I would do a lot of hip hop and stuff.
Nice.
And playing a lot of nightclubs and open format things in Los Angeles. It ended up getting to the point where I realized like I really like making beats and music, and I needed tracks to be in my sets. So it ended up turning into one of those things where I was like learning production to make edits and other things. And then it kind of swerved a little bit. I actually was a tour DJ for some rappers, most notably Lil Dicky, actually.
Awesome.
For a bit, like when he first came out and was hitting his tours. It was really great experience, like seeing an artist like that where he was multifaceted in media and in music as well.
Yeah.
And I just really looked up to him, in that. But I, at that time, actually had started another project. It went by Bee's Knees.
Cool.
And I would just release music independently. It was a duo at one point, and then it turned into just me. But we just had a remix actually like go pretty viral for Robin Thicke Blurred Lines. And that was like the start of my production career, but it wasn't enough to like take over my life. So I was still DJing a lot of nightclubs and open parties. I mean, I had a business. I was doing weddings to quinceañeras to bar mitzvahs to 85th year-old birthdays to 5-year-old birthdays. Like I had this whole, I would just do everything. But it just turned into this thing where Bee's Knees ended up like taking off for a while and actually, touring all over North America. And that was like really fun and amazing, and got to work with so many cool artists and tour with some awesome artists. But it just ended up like not really being the thing that I felt like was defining me 100%. And one thing led to another, and I kind of slowed down with Bee's Knees. And then really, like, I would say shortly after, I just said, you know what, I'm going to start producing and writing for other artists and doing that whole thing because I really love making music and I just want to like expand and get better and really like be better, try to feel like I could be better than the average person, or like graduate from SoundCloud to, like writing songs that do real numbers. So I thought I could do that. And it's been awesome. Like I've been able to work with some really great artists, some ones I look up to helping growing certain artists. It's been growing with certain artists. I mean, like it's been amazing. So yeah, that's kind of like what led to that. And what particularly led to NOVODOR was I was working on a lot of different like musical projects, and it got to a point where I felt like I wasn't like really like hitting my soul or like getting into my pocket. So it ended up just turning into one of those things where I was making music for fun and started making this house stuff. Actually, was the first song I ever made for the project.
Nice.
The first song I had released. So that was really awesome to be able to put that out and do that. But that was really what kicked off NOVODOR. And I was just making records for about a year and a half, 2 years for NOVODOR stuff before really like getting signed with Ultra. And there were some awesome people. It's actually happened around the pandemic when I got signed, I made my agreement with Ultra. So that was really cool because I was like freaking out. I had certain label deals like fall through, and I was like, no. And Ultra was really staying there and sticking with me, and they like saw this vision like where I want to do multiple things. And besides just music, like I love making videos, and I love collaborating with those kinds of people. So that's awesome. Really awesome. But that's kind of how I got here in the short form of it.
That's really interesting, man. I wanted to ask as well, like, did any of those, I guess, previous connections from the Bee's Knees days help you with what you're doing with NOVODOR, or was it kind of like a ground zero in some ways?
In some ways it was a ground zero because Bee's Knees was like way more indie dance and slower and like very like groovy. But it ended up, it was beneficial in the sense of where it's like, I know people in the industry, in the dance world, because I would play festivals or shows with them. And someone that's like still to this day that supports NOVODOR now, that's been like such a huge support of mine, is Oliver Heldens. And he's like been such a nice guy, and we just like really connected because we also have some mutual friends. And one of my roommate, Nico the Kid, he's also really good friends with him, and we have another friend, Throttle, and I knew Throttle from Bee's Knees days. And then the list goes on of like just random people I like befriended when I was like 18, 19, and just coming up through SoundCloud with Bee's Knees. So it definitely helped in that sense. But to like actually establish your name and becoming an act and like an artist project in today's world, like you either have to get really that super cosign with the specific label and they pump all that energy, or it's really like you're building a foundation with the label like I am with Ultra, like from the ground up, and where you see where that will end up going, and
nice,
things like
man.
that. But yeah, it's interesting.
How did the Ultra opportunity come around?
I think my manager Kevin was having a meeting with David, and I had known David because a remix I did for Lose the Child with Bee's Knees performed really well, and David and I have like had a relationship. I've pitched him other projects before, but he really loved this. David Waxman, sorry. Shout out David Waxman, my A&R. But he was the one that saw the vision with the project and like the visual aspect as well, and where I can go with this. So yeah.
That's cool, man. Because that is definitely one thing I've noticed is your visual aspect and the brand, I guess, associated with it. And, you've managed to build like quite a good Instagram following, for example, already with your videos. And, I think you were doing like some like kind of remixes, like reels type stuff, if I'm not mistaken, for a while. Like, is that definitely a big part of what you're doing with NOVODOR? Because I think a lot of artists don't do that, and it could be something that helps them. So maybe do you want to dive into that side of it as well?
Yeah, I think that it's very helpful. And to be honest, it's hilarious. I used to do this thing called Friday Flips, and I still will do them from time to time. But I did so many remixes hoping that one would like really go and catch off, and would realize it like really just gained like these fans and these people that like them. But I actually didn't have any of them get officially released or whatever. But with that being said, it's almost like training yourself to put out music and not care so much in a way. Because not that you shouldn't care about your music, but it's one of those things that if you don't put so much effort and like thought and you just do it and like repetition and putting up numbers, like it's almost like an exercise, right? And I like making videos and doing that stuff. It's fun for me. So that's just the added element. I think people do benefit from that. But I also, sometimes you never know. Like some people don't have to post anything or like crazy, and they just post something and people eat it up, and you never really know. I feel like there's so much to be said. Like yes, like promoting yourself and all that. But I for me at least, like doing these videos were almost a way to showcase everybody like, hey, like I do visual content. Hopefully you can then start to transfer over to my music videos, and hopefully, the shorts and other things I'll do in the future, and the music that I'll make for that, and kind of incorporating it. Just because, I think there's like we see now with TikTok, music and video are like so synonymous right now. Like before you would experience music in like you'd be sitting with your friends just listening to a song. Now it's like, oh my god, this video and this song like time up right, and it just like works cool. And even there's so many funny videos with that, like just model, but it works. So I think it's something to be said, like music and video go together super well, obviously.
Totally. I'm pretty sure, like, I actually haven't checked this as well, but if you like get your music in a reel or a TikTok or whatever, I'm pretty sure you get streaming royalties. I'm actually not 100% sure on that.
I think you can if you're monetizing your pages and you have that all set up, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I think there's like a fine line between like trying to monetize and like make every dollar out of everything and just doing it, know? And that's with being an artist. It's different when you're a producer and songwriter, in my opinion. Like when you're a producer and songwriter, that's your job. So you got to like make sure you're like tight with that. But like as an artist, sometimes like your biggest thing, you won't make any freaking money from it. Nothing. Zero. Like just because like it gets you fame, like I don't know, just shit happens. Like that.
It's interesting. Like you can't predict. You can put every bit of effort into hoping something does well, but like it can just, at the end of the day, like there's not a lot of control over it. You can do all the right things to tick all the right boxes, but for some reason a song flops, but then someone doesn't tick all the boxes and it blows up. Like it's just really hard.
Dude, trust me, I'm going through it right now, putting out like certain music. I mean, like I'm lucky that I'm able to make music for other people and do that stuff. You know, and like also have a supportive record label as well. But still it's one of those things that I don't know. It doesn't always happen. Like I have a song that does better on one platform than another, and you know, you don't know. Like you just don't know. Also, sometimes songs take like a year, take 2 years. I mean, there's so many stories we can go on about what songs take off like because of a fucking TikTok or a meme, like the Desperado song from Auntie. Like is like it's insane. I mean, go through TikTok, like half these songs are like, you know, 10 years old, some of them 15, 20. Like who cares, you know?
That's actually so true. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I think like I would call it almost like your music is evergreen in some ways. Like, I think the music industry has been in this like release oriented like perspective of like, you know, it's always about the latest release that this artist is putting out, which it's always going to be, like, at least for the foreseeable future. It's always going to be, you know, and you do always need to be putting out new music in the modern music landscape or whatever. But you have all these, especially if you've been like producing for years or you're an artist and you've been having a project for years, you got this back catalog of music that, you know, a lot of people may not have ever heard of. Even if, like, new people discovering you haven't heard this old stuff. And one of those old songs could, you know, become someone's favorite song, or could, as you say, blow up into a TikTok or whatever. Like, there's a lot of potential there, and it just doesn't always have to be the latest, newest thing that can bring that about, I guess. It's encouraging.
No, it's you know, in the producer writer world, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of the songs you make, you know, come out ever. And you write a lot more music as a songwriter producer for other people than you do as an artist, because like just the artist has to, if I don't know, like a lot of people I know, sometimes they only write 10 songs in the year, you know. I mean, some people are prolific, you know, it just depends. But yeah, it's a hard thing, and you got to kind of like recognize that even if you it's not about the amount of effort, it's about timing. Like luck is a combination between timing and hard work, and that's when luck happens, is when it's like the perfect timing.
Yeah, it has to be like in the feed at the exact right time. This person sees it, and then they happen to share it. And then add it to this playlist, and then it's like, oh, that worked out really well. But if you got that like a day later, then it might not have ever happened. So it's just really hard to know.
I have an example of it. I produced this song for this artist. Her name's Blue to Tiger, and it's called "Figure It Out." And it went like really viral on TikTok. Like it was like the April it came out, and then in like May or June it goes stupid viral. And last year, like at the beginning of the pandemic, and that beat, I had started it like Blue and Sad Pony, this other producer, finished the record and like put it all together like with the arrangement and stuff. But I had like the main meat and potatoes, and that beat I made for like this other pop artist. Her name's Stella Cole, that I had been working with Artsea, and like she tried to write it. They were at a writing camp, and I wasn't able to go for some, I forget what reason. And then I had sent that beat to some other big songwriters to write to it, and they couldn't get it. And that song sat on my hard drive for like 3 years, 2 years or something. That beat, and I made it with
Yeah.
this guy Alex Gorshetsky, this phenomenal bassist.
Awesome.
And he like essentially I had this thing sitting on my computer and I knew it was really good, but like I just didn't give it away yet. And I had an opportunity, to like try to get it to another artist, but I just said, you know what, it'll happen. And I let Blue, finish it and take the stems, and then they finish it off and do their thing. Like, like this song did so well for her, and look where she's at now. And not saying it's just because of that song. Like, their team have done a phenomenal job with her.
Yeah.
But just saying like that contributed because you had something with such massive success where it brought all these other people listening to all her other music, and then that's what happened with that. I mean, she was also blowing up on TikTok at the same time,
Yeah.
and then the song did well with their campaign, and all that stuff. Like I don't think if she put it out a month, like if she put it out a month before, 2 months before, like
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have done as well if she did it, because like the timing of like how her TikTok was doing, and
Yeah.
like I mean, we were working together before she even had a TikTok, so we would make jokes about it, but and be like, who's starting a TikTok first, like because this was like 2 years ago, or whatever it was, 3 years ago, but yeah, essentially like I never knew, but I believed in that beat. And mind you, when it came out, it did have like pretty, in the time frame of what we're talking about, like pretty big success, but
Yeah.
it was very short. But that beat had like a whole life before that.
That's crazy.
I mean, there's tons of stories, but I just felt like that's like my personal experience like recently. That I was like, damn, like that was good weight.
Yeah,
And
yeah, totally. That's so fair. Like it can happen at any time, and yeah, if it just about figuring out, and at the same time as well, it's like that like maybe the platform growth, timing it with that when people were starting to use it a lot, like that's a huge factor as well. Like,
yeah, that's luck. That's where like the timing, and like, and not saying like she doesn't deserve it, but just saying that it's just timing is everything. And then when you capitalize on timing, there's definitely certain things I think back, like the reason why I kind of wanted to do another artist project and like go off with it and be kind of like this character, you know what I mean? Was because I never felt like I could express myself that way, and like being always behind the scenes and is like can be hard with that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like you've got to kind of almost play a role when you're, especially when you're involved with what else someone else is doing or something like that. Yeah, I see that.
But I learned a lot of things there that I could do now that I'm applying now, and like I like the way that it's going. Obviously, do I want more streams, or do I want more this or whatever? But it's like you can't just expect like straight up success. You just can expect like hard work and effort. As long as you're putting in effort, you're winning. Like you succeeded. Like dude, like these videos are on MTV and stuff, and like those are my first videos I've ever like helped create like that, these music videos, and that's, they're all in rotation, they're going to be all in rotation, and it's like what, like who, I'm stoked about that. And you got to think about just like maybe certain wins, not everything like happening at once.
It's true, man. And yeah, I think that's also a good timing thing for you as well. Like, I was reading, I think it was the other day, like, I think labels and artists in general, like, are starting to kind of diversify from, like, I think we've all been so focused on Spotify for like the last few years. It feels like, like everything, and it's still important. Like it's still it's still the biggest music platform by far for artists, but like diversifying away from it and like figuring out how to use these other platforms and stuff like that. That's definitely something that's happening more and more. Like it's definitely, I was joking around with someone the other day. It's like soon music will just be like TikTok, where you just like swipe between the next song and the next song, and you listen to 15 seconds of it. Like it probably will get to that
Yeah.
point, to be honest.
Yep. I mean, look, that what do you think NFTs are? They're like 15,
Yeah,
20-second songs that are getting coupled with art and then
yeah,
being sold for thousands of dollars. And then if you think about how much the artist is making off of that, it's like over 1 million streams, after paying everybody out. Like
yeah.
it's worth it. And you kind of changes your frame of reference from like what you want out of things, right?
Mm.
Like is your goal like fame? Because if your
Yeah.
goal is fame, like you got to do certain things. Like I'm not saying I agree with that, but if
Mm.
your goal is to make dope shit cuz you think it should be out there to impact culture, you do
Yeah.
that. That's why I do me, it's like
Yeah.
I just think that like what can I contribute to society here?
Yeah.
Like if I can do, and I don't really do shit. I make music, like I can't, I'm not fucking helping people. And I am,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
at least I'm gonna make some dope shit like for you guys. Like that's what I want to do, like, and entertain. And I love entertaining, and
Totally, man. And yeah, like, for me personally, like, obviously, I do this podcast, help run EDMProd, where we like educate producers and stuff like that. And that's like something I love to do. But for my own personal music, like, it's just about making the music that I would exactly want to hear, and I make drum and bass, which is a very niche kind of genre
Yeah.
of music, which, it's not going to necessarily blow up huge, but that's not necessarily, that'd be cool if it happens, but it's not necessarily like the coolest thing for me. It's about like just making what I think is really cool, and if other people like that, then that's what matters at the end of the day, right? Like,
Yep.
as long as it aligns with that goal that you've got. Yeah.
And like, I would say not everybody can be LeBron James.
Yeah. So true. So true.
You know what I mean? Like I just, not everybody can be that guy, but you can strive to be that guy or girl, or whatever. Like you can definitely, but not everybody's gonna get that. And like I can tell you, because I've seen people go from sleeping on couches to mega stardom, and
Yes.
or having hit records or other things. Like I've just been doing this a long enough time now, where like your life can change, but you can't just like expect that to happen. You got to be like working towards that.
Yeah.
And all that. I don't know. And
Yeah.
it happens for everybody at different stages. Like everybody's journey is their own and things like that,
People also assume they want to be LeBron James as well, which may not actually be what they want if they like looked deep inside enough, like I think that's the assumption for a lot of people. It's like, do you actually want to be that? Like, do you actually like want fame? Do you actually want that level of success in terms of like external success? Like maybe you don't actually, maybe you just assume you want it because it looks kind of cool. Like, it's worth asking the question at least, right?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. They're putting so many shots up, like just the basketball reference. Like he's putting so many shots up every day, like practicing in the gym. Like and you can't equate entertainment and music now. And now I'm gonna totally back myself, like totally make a 360 or 180 with my view here. But you can't equate now basketball though to music, where you put enough reps in, you're gonna get a great result. Like sometimes you just don't have it. Like
right.
I just, that's my belief. Like sometimes one person, whatever genre, like sometimes your taste is not good. And I'm not saying, you got to evaluate yourself, and one person has to like sit there like, shit, is my taste, like, obviously you have to have confidence to be able to do any kind of music or entertainment. But sometimes like people, I think, don't recognize what their strengths are versus their weaknesses, and what they're actually good at. And they don't realize, and this applies to everything, but especially with entertainment, like we were talking about earlier, which was like, it's timing and hard work. And when you get that opportunity to like overcome or like succeed or like, connect, then that's where it kicks in, the shot formula, like putting up enough reps. But putting up enough reps doesn't get you guaranteed. But like in basketball or in sports, like if you're a gifted physical athlete, you're going to have an easier time doing that. It's the same thing with taste. Like if you're more gifted in your taste, you know, like that's a huge part of it. And that could
if
go
it aligns with what people want as well. Like,
like not all, like, yes, I mean, art is subjective, but what defines good art? Is it success or is it what you think? And in today's world, money and numbers and success, that's what determines like the most popular, you know, I mean, or the best, you know, like, I mean, that's how it is in sports, and people just look at everything the same, even though I don't agree with that, but that's that's like the reality of the world, you know.
It is the reality. Yeah, definitely.
Like the majority, even we do it with things we aren't so invested in. Like with music, we're going to have more empathy about it. But with other things, like you probably have gone and seen a bunch of movies and then you're not like having enough empathy for the movie. So you're just like, fuck this movie. like I hated it. You know, but yeah.
It's a super interesting topic, that whole thing, man. Yeah, I could talk about it for hours, to be honest. But
yeah, no, it's crazy. I could too. But anyways,
yeah, man, I will switch it up a little bit. I wanted to dive more back in towards your own music and stuff like that. In terms of your approach to production and writing, like it seems, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you have like a really fun kind of creative approach to sampling. And if your records like and Candela, your latest one, they have like a really fun kind of, you know, it feels like it's got that old school vibe to it, but it also kind of is in a new context. So yeah, do you want to dive into your production process a bit for us?
Yeah, it's fucking different every time. Literally so different every time. It's all over the place, but it can vary. So like, and timing and like during the, I would say, because I have a lot of sample house shit that I made in the last like 2 years, but then I go through these phases of like just trying to make other stuff and other vibes. So but really, it really just varies. I mean, whatever like inspires me, like I'll hear a sample in the car, like driving on the radio or something, or just going through YouTube or playlists, and like I just think like I just look in regards to sampling, at least, I just look for things that can be identifiable, that are like, especially when you have more live music, because I feel like that's what people tend to sample a lot, or they sample a vocal. But like when it comes to like the full track or like stuff like that, you just got to find something that is really catchy, that you could almost hum or sing as well. And then, you know, you can build all around it. I think I have a video on my TikTok about like how I made, like, you know, very quickly. I have a video about it, but
cool.
But yeah, I mean, I think it just varies every time, because sometimes I hear a bass line and then I write around, then I make drums and I mouth out the bass line on my iPhone, and then I try to transcribe it on the keys, and then I can do that, or I'll play it on the keyboard, or I get a bunch of live musicians actually to play stuff, like in Candela, that was actually a live recorded song by the co-producer on the song, Nick Seeley, and then this guy, Harry Romeo. They had made like I work with a lot of sample makers, and sometimes I make samples and send them to other producers, like for pop music and rap music and whatever else I make. And we'll send each other ideas, because like sometimes it's fun to work from like something that was started. So the original Candela was like just some sample that Nick and Harry made, and that was at like 160 BPM, and I actually like pitched it up and then slowed it down, and then Nick sent me the stems, and I ended up like completely flipping the track on its head, because like it felt a little different. I think the sax the trumpet was over the vocal at some point. I don't remember. I have to listen back to it. But I rearranged like the sounds and like chopped up stuff to make better like fills for the drums, and But a
Nice.
lot of those, like the drum fills and stuff, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're all live,
Yeah.
which is dope. But sometimes like I make a sample and then I just chop it up myself. Like I just like
Yeah.
get a bunch of musicians in the room and I do that. But I don't really like have an ego when it comes to making music as long as it
Yeah.
sounds dope. And I know what the NOVODOR sound is like, so like I'm gonna be the one finishing that,
Mm,
and getting that to the place. Unless like I'm really collaborating with somebody and whatever happens, like it was like a 2 artist collab, like producer thing. But
yeah.
other than that, for NOVODOR, I'll be finishing everything if that, or I just started all on my own and I just do it by myself. Like with like I just thought to do that myself and did the track myself, and then
Yeah.
got the sample replayed um by Replay Heaven. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, I think I like what you said. Yeah, you don't have an ego about your approach to making music. That's key, I think, because you just gotta, yeah, I think at the end of the day, a producer makes, whatever they get to the end result they're looking for with whatever way is good for that, And I think if you're using a sample, if you're, using other musicians and collaborating that way, or if you're, whatever you're doing, like splice samples or whatever it is that helps you
Yeah.
get to that end result, because it's just you're making music. That's the end goal. And yeah, I think a lot of people get too caught up in I have to do it this way or I have to do it that way. And I for me, when I stopped thinking like that, that really helped me be a lot more creative and make way better music as well. Like you can just, you don't have any of these expectations placed on yourself as an artist. You can just do whatever and see what works, kind of thing. So I think that's great, man.
Yeah. 100%. And I love I have a vision for this NOVODOR project,
Yeah,
and I want to like do that. But also if I'm collaborating with people, like I have no problem, I kind of get, it's like funny, like certain DJs or other people like won't credit other producers or people that work on their music, and
right.
we can say ghost producers, but I
Yeah,
mean, you know, it's not really ghost. They're so like, I have so much respect for the DJs that do get part of their productions ghosted, because like it takes a lot to run these things. Like it's not just like I think there's 2 levels. Do you either want to be like local DJ, or not local DJ, but DJ like playing small clubs and that's it? Like, and I think everybody's down with that, but I think
yeah,
everybody has bigger aspirations, right? And like everyone needs help. Like everyone needs help. Like
yeah.
100%. There's no, yeah.
Yeah, I think and like I think one of the most valuable things if you're a producer, I think Kashmir said this. I think maybe when he was on our podcast a while ago, but he said like one of the oh no, I think he actually said this in another video, but he's like one of the best things a producer can do early on is find like a vocalist to collaborate with frequently,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's like if you're a producer and you can't sing, then like which is probably likely because you're good at production and not a good singer, then you need to find that person to work with who can fill that gap in a good way. Like that's an example where it's like don't let your ego get in the way. Like start working with people early or whatever like that. Like that's something I've had to overcome over the years of production and stuff like that, is just working with vocalists more, working with other people for sure. Like yeah.
Yeah. And just like trying new things. Cause like I would say, I learned how to make music through Bee's Knees.
Yeah.
And like that was my learning experience. But I didn't fully, I didn't fully like grasp my strengths and my weaknesses until I did all genres, and I do that now, and I can do certain things better than others, but
Yeah.
I can kind of become a Swiss Army knife, and like where other DJs come and ask me to work with them to do stuff,
Mm.
and they're down to work with me, and other artists and other like people, without me having to have like crazy numbers, because they know that I know what I'm doing. Like I'm not going to sit there and waste our time to just
Mm.
like make a track. Like I was working with dances with white girls the other week, and sometimes he was explaining like, and I wouldn't have known this if I hadn't been producing for other artists before, but like, and experienced this myself and made those mistakes, because you like fall forward. You gotta learn by doing. So
yep.
Like he was just like, yeah, it's annoying sometimes. Like I go in the studio with some like house producers or people that only make dance music, and they're searching for a kick for 2 hours, and I can't write the song, and I can't, and then they want me to just like, they want to give me a track and then just do my thing on it. And it's like, why don't we just make this together and like learn to make a song from scratch? And we can always like change the idea once we started it and wrote it, but like write the song out. But the song should be the most important thing. Like even if it's you have a 2-line vocal in a song, that's still going to be the most catchy thing, most likely, with the cool beat, obviously, but that's going to like take it to the next level, and knowing like what works for everything. And that takes time with learning production for all genres, I think, and working with all kinds of different artists or songwriters, or like I don't know. I learned that, and it took me years. It really took me years. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Are you familiar with like the 80-20 rule? I think like it's this like kind of, I think it's from economics or something like that, but applied to music, like often I find like the 20% of the work you do when you're making a tune results in like 80% of the end result. And as you mentioned, like finding that note hook or whatever like that small element often is like the most important part of the track, and all this other stuff that kind of surrounds that. It's like, it's important too, but like, don't like you mentioned, don't spend 2 hours finding a kick drum. Like it's a kick drum. Like as long as it punches and has the right feel to it, then
fucking
like
change it later. Change it later.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do whatever, dude. There's like a million kicks in the world. Like
I know.
Literally put 100 kicks on that song. Try 100 different kicks, but don't do it ruining the vibe for the whole everybody else in the room. Just make it and have fun and keep the energy.
Totally, man. Yeah, it's like, that's kind of like when I go to mix down a tune. Like I do mix a lot of my own music. I like am so like bigger picture as well with it. I see, for me, the end of the song creation process is just like big picture stuff. Like, okay, the song's there. It's like I will be happy to go and change a kick drum at that point. I'll be happy to go layer in an extra snare. It's like I'm not just going to tweak the faders. Like I will like do whatever is necessary to get to the end result. But yeah, when you're in that first little bit of making the idea, it's so crucial you move fast and kind of get the main idea down, like while you're in that flow state. Otherwise, yeah, you can quickly go on a tangent that's just going to ruin the creativity for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, man.
Definitely interesting doing that. But you gotta find what works for you, but just like don't ruin the vibe. Like just like do it. And just like be cool, be chill.
Yeah, totally. It's underrated, man. It's underrated.
100%.
And then so now you've got a few tunes out, as we mentioned a bit earlier. So your biggest tune to date was Like, as you mentioned a couple times. Was that out with Ultra, that tune?
Yeah. We put that out with Ultra.
Awesome. How did that one? That one's like, I think 170,000 plays now. Like, what kind of contributed to the initial bump in streams for that one, do you think?
I don't know. I think we ran some campaigns, some third-party playlisting and looking up stuff. I mean, there's a ton of services that you can look into for that stuff, but I would also just say, the label promoting it. Apple Music actually gave us some great editorial plays with that. I mean,
awesome.
Yeah, I don't really know. Just other than that, just like sending it around and hopefully people listening to it. But there's like companies like Playlist Supply, which a good friend of mine runs, and you can find tons of third-party playlisting through that. And like I was saying, like this is where the reps kind of come in, where it's like if you have good music and you send an email with good timing, then if you put out enough, like there's like that every 100 you should always get at least 1% back or whatever, or
Yeah.
or whatever it is, or 10% back. I forget the what rule, but like
Yeah.
um but like you just got to be constantly throwing stuff at the board and doing stuff. I mean, I ran some TikTok campaigns. We did some stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, trying, just trying stuff. I mean, me promoting on social media, getting other accounts to post things, people just liking it. I mean, I think, like, again, like I was saying, like those initial bumps are great, but sometimes it might take a couple different things before something really gains a life, or like maybe a big TikTok trend ends up staying with it. I mean, it got on some TikToks that had like a few million, but
Yeah.
nothing that was like based around the music, So
Sure.
but it just, like I said, just varies. I think,
Yeah.
with everything. Yeah.
Totally. I think like taking the same creative energy you have in writing a song, you can apply that to the promotion of it too. Like
Yeah.
you have so many like creative ideas, like, oh, I'm going to like do an extra drum fill here, or I'm going to do like an extra like, little lead, I don't know, like
Yeah.
riff at the end of the bar here, like those same things you're doing in the studio. Like think like that in terms of like the lifespan of your release. It's like, oh, this time I'm going to try Facebook ads, or, this time I'm going to try
Yeah.
like sending it to a few playlists, and I'm going to try this service instead of that service. And it's like each release is a new opportunity to have fun with it. Like, even though, not everyone's going to find maybe marketing and promotion as fun as the music writing process, I think you still can have fun with it. And I think there's a way that would work for each person, whether that's working with a label so that can kind of take that burden off you as a producer as well. But I still think there's a lot of fun you can have with the whole release schedule.
Yeah, of course. And don't get me wrong, just because record labels have connections with, or like are able to pitch things to DSPs and YouTube, all that stuff, doesn't mean it's still gonna get on there. I mean, like it took time before my music videos started getting put onto MTV, but it wasn't because like they came out. It was because like once they come out, like people want to see a story as well. You can't just expect one song, two songs, three songs. Like tons of people. I mean, not everyone's the biggest fan of him, but Russ, the rapper, like he put out tons of music before he like really blew up, and then his fans had all this stuff to go back to and listen to. And you got to like treat your catalog as its own entity, like your back catalog. Like I've been lucky to have a ton of music out in the world, so like I'm gonna still do it all like that. I mean, at least for me, that's how I work. And I'm lucky enough to be able to make music every day. Not everybody can. So but yeah, it's one of those things where like you just got to keep doing it. It's just putting numbers on the board. Like it's like a weird, because I keep saying that, but then I was also saying like against it. But it is both. Like, you know what I mean? It's
I think like the reps is a good baseline though. Like if you're doing the reps, there is still more of a chance that something will happen rather than if you weren't putting anything out. And like very rarely, and it does happen still, but very rarely does someone put out their very first song and it blows up like huge, like these days, especially under a new project. Like these people having at least 5-10 releases sometimes before you hit that one that does actually kind of get big. And it's learning from each one and adjusting each time and being like, all right, what didn't work about this? What do I need to do next time? And also just like, as we mentioned before, you need to have more opportunities for it to just be lucky, for it just to be happening at the right time. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, it's a very interesting, like concoction of things that have to happen. And, I know some talented people that haven't gotten success, and I know some I don't think talented people get extreme success.
Yeah.
So like, you don't know. You can't. And also, no one ever knows all like everything. Not everything. Most things we see aren't real. I just know that because I know people that do the low key stuff, and I can tell you that like some people just it's fake. Like like you might see someone with a bunch of I mean, we all know with Instagram followers, but even streams, everything.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
yeah,
so
man.
you can't compare yourself, like no one should ever.
Yeah.
And it's all love, you know. Yes, like if you want to be the best, you got to have a little competitiveness, and but at the same time, like we're all trying.
Yeah, it is definitely like, you know, you can't like shut everyone else off trying to have success. You have to, you know, be part of the community, and that's what it's all about. That's what music's all about at the end of the day, right? You know?
Yeah, 100%. Especially with the electronic music, like everybody, when you're at a festival, when you're at a party, whatever it is, and you want to, you know, you're seeing like one of your favorite artists, there's like a bajillion people there that's also their favorite artist. And same with like music and stuff, but I feel like even more with dance music, like there's so much like love energy, you know, with electronic music fans for the most part.
I feel like it also in a lot of ways like transcends like even language barriers sometimes, because there's like, it's all about like the feel of the music, which is really cool as well. Like even though there may be vocals and stuff like that, like it is one of the most international genres.
It is, because everybody's traveling everywhere to go to like things, and like it's a lot more. I think it's a little bit easier because like if you think like big bands and other stuff, like they have such big productions. It's like they need to make sure that there's, I don't know. With DJing it's a little different. Like you can just hop on a plane, show up somewhere, and leave, and like that means you can probably like stay and be immersed in the culture and other things more. Where it's like with a band, you gotta like, you know, if you're a vocalist, like you can't be talking all day. Like you have to be quiet because you're going to be singing all night, super hardcore, and you have 30 dates on the tour. Like you can't just be out and about. You're going to lose your voice, you know. And then you lose money, and you know, if you can't sing or play a show. So with DJing, it's a little different. Like I think in that regard, but
that's very true. It's less
just
friction.
show up. You can just show up. And then like you're immersed, and like same with the like vacationers with dance music, like just such international people, like they have like they get closer with the fans, like DJs and all that stuff.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. And you know now back to your own stuff as well. You've got your EP coming out on the 4th of November. 5th of November. Sorry, 5th of November. I got confused because you've also got with that, you mentioned a 4-part music video. So do you want to tell us about that and what's coming up with the release and stuff?
Yeah. So every song I've put out so far has a music video that's gone with it, and they actually all flow into each other if you watch them in succession. So the 4th one drops as well on the EP release date, I think. For now, we'll see what happens, but so it should, and then there's a 4th and final song, you know, as well with the video and everything, and it's titled Open the NOVODOR, and I can't wait to unveil the artwork. I think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, looking forward to it, man. That's funny.
Sorry, I'm just like thinking about it. I'm like, y'all are gonna, I don't know, I it might be a hit or miss.
That's funny, man.
I just have so much fun doing this stuff. At the end of the day, I get to create fun shit, so whatever.
No, that's good, man. I think it comes back to that thing of like figuring out what your strengths are and what you enjoy, and then just like running with that. And I think you've done that very well.
100%. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's awesome, man. Looking forward to that. And do you have anything else coming up in the next, 6 to 12 months that you want to share, or any plans you've got for NOVODOR, anything like that?
Yeah. Well, a couple things. I got a cool bunch of new music coming out with some cool artists soon, which will be awesome. And then, we have some more club records coming out after the EP.
Nice.
I'm slated for some club booty shaker groovers. You know what I mean? So, Other than that, just gonna be doing more videos. I got
Yep.
some really cool ideas, brewing, and I think they're freaking hilarious and fun and awesome and creative. And then, yeah, if you are based in Los Angeles or anyone that is listening to this at this point, based in Los Angeles, I will be throwing an EP release party out here in Los Angeles. So be on the lookout for that. And I'll
Awesome.
definitely be yelling at the top of a mountain virtually on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and fucking I don't know what else, but Facebook obviously. Yeah, but yeah, I'll be having a party like that, and
Nice.
I wish I could come down under, but it's not happening this moment.
Yeah, not anytime soon. Hopefully things start to open up though. Definitely.
Yeah,
Would be
I have some
cool.
friends out there. I got some good
Nice.
friends out there, some amazing artists. I have a ton of Australian artists and writers and people I know that are just phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, but we're playing shows out here. I if anybody's gonna be in New York during NFT week, I will be out there, and then um it's looking like, and then I should have I have a couple things coming up, some more low key, whatever, but
Awesome.
just be on the lookout for some shows,
Yep.
and yeah.
Awesome, man. No, that's lots to look forward to. Lots to look forward to.
Yeah, always working, just always
Yeah.
doing shit, doing something. I'm always doing fucking something. Whether I'm in my mankini or I'm in a Walmart, looking for my next outfit for a video,
Yeah.
or I'm making beats or something. I don't know, or just
Yeah.
chilling with my girlfriend. Yeah,
Keeping it fun. That's cool, man. No, I like that.
yeah,
I do have one last question that's kind of a bit of a fun one.
yeah.
I ask everyone who comes on the podcast this question because I think it's interesting to hear everyone's response. So
Okay.
basically, if you had a time machine and you could go into the past and change one mistake you made in music, etc., what do you think that would be?
I don't know. I mean, okay. To be fair, I don't know if I would have actually made it on the TV, but I mean, I I was DJing for Lil Dicky, and now he has this TV show and on FX, and I was like, damn, maybe I should have stayed. No, but everything happens for a reason. My
Yes.
answer to that is everything happens for a reason, and I honestly don't think like that. I mean, if I had to, for the sake of the question, to just entertain you,
Yeah.
let me think about this.
It is a bit of a trick question, by the way, because I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I don't personally like. I really am like, well, fuck, I made that decision. Well,
Yeah.
whatever. It's my life. Like, maybe I'll get it on the next one.
Yeah,
But no, I really don't really look back like that. But I'm trying to think like something fun. I would say, I'm not like doubting like the reasons why I should have ended Bee's Knees per se. Like if we're talking about with music, um, there were like I could have just adapted with the times and changed the sound for sure, and played some more shows. But also, I don't know. I don't think so. Like I also kind of like that I had to end it because like I felt so much personal pressure. Just like personal things I needed to like let go of. I think like anything I would just change is being a little bit more patient and okay with things like at the start.
Yeah.
And learning how to, cope with that and like the ups and downs. Like I just felt like I took stuff a little bit too much to heart at a certain point. And now I definitely like, stuff happened today and like whatever it happens, like sure, yeah, it's annoying, and I'll definitely tell my friend like, hey, yo, dude, like we were supposed to work today, and then you didn't answer me, like I'll totally roast them, but I'm not sitting there like screw them, like I'm over them, like who do they think they are, like and just having more empathy for myself and others.
Cool.
You know, I don't need to
that.
relate to myself even when I know myself. But I just need to be like, dude, you're good. Don't worry. Like, yeah.
That's cool, man. I like that.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been super fun. Went on some good tangents, which I always love, man. So, appreciate you taking the time. Yeah.
I'm a tangenter.
Tangenter. Yeah. Awesome, man. Where can people find you online if they want to follow you and stuff?
Anything /NOVODOR, NOVODOR. And then I think on TikTok, like it's all messed up, but it's like NOVODOR 8, but like, you know, whatever, you'll be able to find me. It'll be easy. But other than that, and you know, I'll get TikTok on the phone. But yeah, I'll and anything with NOVODOR in it, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. Or you could check out Bees Knees if you wanted to listen to tunes there. You know, I have some catalog there. Awesome. You know, you can Google me and find out what music I produce for people and all that junk. I mean, I don't really like to talk about it like that, but you know, we can figure it out. Yeah, no pun intended to Blue, but
awesome, man. Cool. I'll leave all those links in the description as well, so everyone can go check that out. But yeah, man, this has been a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure, Aden. Thanks for taking the time to talk. You know, I appreciate it because I'm talking at you. I feel, and I'm kidding, but
nah, man, it's been awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.